Good evening. Welcome to the Budget Finance voting meeting where we'll make recommendations on the warrant articles. First order of business is the approval of the minutes from March 31st.
I move approval of the minutes as presented.
Thank you. Like to have a second.
I second.
Thank you, Abigail. Any omissions, additions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. How this process will work. I will read the full, excuse me, Kathy.
What do you need?
Getting feedback. Thank you. I will read through the warrant article and ask for a motion to either recommend or not recommend the article. When it comes time to vote, since we're in a Zoom environment, we will do a roll call vote. I will call your name and you will state your position, either recommend or not recommend. Article 3, referendum question A, to see if the town will vote to set the date of the first half of taxes due to October 31st, 2022, and the second half of taxes due to April 30th, 2023, and set the interest rate for unpaid balances and for abated taxes at 4% for the fiscal year. Authorize the tax collector or treasurer to accept prepayments of taxes not yet committed pursuant to 36 MRSA subsection 506 with no interest, and authorize the select board on behalf of the town to sell and dispose of any property acquired by the town for non-payment of taxes pursuant to the policy adopted by the select board, as may be amended from time to time. The policy to remain consistent with the state statutes and laws. In all cases, conveyance to be made by municipal quit claim deed. The select board recommends Article 3.
I move to recommend Article 3.
Thank you, Karen.
Second.
Thank you, Dennis. Any questions? All those in favor? Well, Karen, what is your pleasure?
I vote in favor.
Bob? You're muted.
Sorry, in favor.
Dennis?
I'm in favor.
Abigail?
I'm in favor.
Thank you. Article 4. Referendum question B. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $2,166,464 for general government services, administration, employee compensation and training, insurances, worker comp and benefits, assessing, code enforcement, parks and rec, technology, and general assistance. The budget figures will be assigned as follows. Administration, $516,490. Employee compensation and training, $55,000. Insurances, workers' comp and benefits, $934,087. All right, I'll say that again. $934,087. Assessing, $79,481. Code enforcement, $213,412. Parks and Rec, $153,334. technology, $204,660, and general assistance, $10,000. The select board recommends Article 4.
I move recommend Article 4.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Bob. Any discussion? Then we'll move to the vote. Karen,
In favor?
Bob,
In favor.
Dennis,
In favor.
and Abigail.
In favor.
Thank you. Article 5, referendum question C, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $131,353,910 for public works. The budget figures will be assigned as follows. Public Works, $891,519. Town Buildings, $37,000. Solid Waste, $381,000. And Cemeteries, $44,391. The Select Board recommends Article 5.
I move recommend Article 5.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? We'll move to the vote. Karen,
Yes?
In
Bob?
favor. In favor.
Dennis,
In favor.
and Abigail?
In favor.
Thank you. Article 6, referendum question D, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $1,207,714 for public safety. The budget figures will be assigned as follows. Fire Rescue Department, $1,168,669. Animal Control, $39,045. The Select Board recommends Article 6.
I move recommend Article 6.
Second.
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? We'll move to the vote. Karen,
Yes?
Bob,
In favor.
Dennis,
I'm in favor.
and Abigail?
In favor.
Thank you very much. Article 7, referendum question E, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to dispose of town-owned personal property with value not to exceed $35,000. The select board recommends Article 7.
I move recommend Article 7.
Thank you.
Second.
Bob, any questions? Then we'll move on to the vote. Karen,
Yes?
Bob,
In favor.
Dennis,
In favor.
Abigail.
In favor.
Thank you. Article 8, referendum question F, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to appropriate from undesignated fund balance or surplus to meet the unanticipated needs of the community that occur during the fiscal year and or to adjust the tax rate as the select board deem advisable, an amount not to exceed $75,000. Select board recommends Article 8.
I move recommend Article 8.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Go on to the vote. Karen,
Yes?
Bob,
In favor.
Dennis,
Yes.
Abigail.
Yes.
Thank you. Article 9, referendum question G, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to transfer funds between appropriation accounts as long as the grand total of all appropriation is not exceeded. Any such transfers to be approved only at a properly called public meeting of the select board. The select board recommends Article 9.
I move recommend Article 9.
second,
Bob, any questions? Go to vote then. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
Yes.
Thank you. That was Article 9, is that correct? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Article 10, referendum question H, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to allow town staff to make application for and execute any documents related to a grant, accept or reject grants, donations, and/or gifts of money to the town of Raymond, and authorize the expenditure of monies awarded, donated, and/or gifted for the purposes specified in the grant, donation, and/or gift. Select Board recommends Article 10.
I move recommend Article 10.
second,
Bob, any questions? Move on to the vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
Yes.
Thank you. Article 11, referendum question I, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to appropriate from undesignated fund balance or surplus to reduce the property tax commitment as the select board deemed advisable and amount not to exceed $200,000. Select board recommends Article 11.
I move recommend Article 11.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
Yes.
Thank you. Article 12, referendum question J, to see if the town will vote to appropriate $420,000 from the tax increment of the Pipeline Route 302 Tax Increment Financing District for fiscal year 2022 to 2023, project proposed in the Tax Increment Financing District Development Plan. And we have details on addendum 1. Select Board recommends Article 12.
I move recommend Article 12.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
Yes.
Thank you. Article 13, referendum question K, to see if the town will vote to appropriate from the Tasseltop Park Enterprise Fund the amount of $109,210 for the administration of activities at the park and to allocate all revenues generated by park operations to be recorded and retained by the Tasseltop Park Enterprise Fund. Select Board recommends Article 13.
I move recommend Article 13.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
Yes.
Thank you. Article 14, referendum question L, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $299,550 for debt services. The budget figures will be assigned as follows. The 2013 Public Works Road Construction Bond, $212,000, and 2015 bond payment, $87,550. Select Board recommends Article 14.
I move recommend Article 14.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? We'll go to vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
yes,
Thank you. Article 15, referendum question M, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to enter a lease purchase agreement for the amount not to exceed $500,000 on such terms as it deemed advisable for the purpose of purchasing a new rescue pumper truck, and raise an appropriate amount not to exceed $58,064 for the payment due in fiscal year 2022-2023. Treasurer's statement, total indebtedness as of June 30th, 2022. Outstanding principal balance, $855,000. There is nothing authorized but unissued debt. New debt to be issued if Article 15 passes. $500,000, so total debt outstanding if Article 15 passes, $1,355,000. The cost, the projected interest rate is a maximum rate of 3.49 per annum. And for a 10-year term, the estimated cost of this lease purchase will be as follows. The principal, $500,000, interest, $80,634, for a total debt service of $580,634. The validity disclaimer. The validity and voters' ratification of the new debt may not be affected by any errors in the above estimates. If the actual amount of the new debt varies from the estimate, the ratification by the voters is nevertheless conclusive, and the validity of the new debt is not affected by reasons of the variance. And this is respectfully submitted by Sharice A. Keach, Finance Director. Select Board recommends Article 15.
I move recommend Article 15.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll go to vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
and Abigail.
yes,
Thank you. Article 16, referendum question N, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $890,000 for the capital improvement program. The budget figures will be assigned as follows. Public Works Equipment Reserve, $225,000. Public Works Paving Road Reserve, $410,000. Municipal Facilities Improvements, $50,000. Technology, $30,000. Revaluation Reserve, $100,000. Public Safety Fire Apparatus, $75,000. The Select Board recommends Article 16.
I move recommend Article 16.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail. Thank you. That was a yes, she was muted. Article 17, referendum question O, to see whether the town will vote to carry forward any existing fund balance in the capital improvement program accounts, the healthcare reimbursement accounts, and the employee compensation account. The Select Board recommends Article 17.
I move recommend Article 17.
Thank you. Karen?
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
yes,
Thank you. Article 18, referendum question P, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $817,347 for the county tax. Select Board recommends Article 18.
I move recommend Article 18.
Thank you.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? We'll move to vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
yes,
Thank you. Article 19, referendum question Q. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $3,000 for provider agencies and regional transportation. The budget figures will be assigned as follows. Provider agencies, $2,000, regional transportation, $1,000. Select Board recommends Article 19.
I move recommend Article 19.
Thank you,
Second.
Karen.
Second.
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll go to vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
yes.
Thank you.
Bob, can I interrupt you just for a second? I just saw Bruce's note. Did you guys see Bruce's note? Under the chat? It said, hello, I can't raise my hand, but the truck went up 50,000 on May 1st, so it will go up, FYI. What does that mean for our budget? Dawn, can you pop on for that? Sorry to interrupt you on this, Bob.
It means that the cost of the vehicle is likely to increase by that amount. I think that's probably also true for other goods and commodities. It's sort of been the order of the day. So I think the article allows for that if there's a variance.
Okay, as long as it allows for it, but yeah, I just saw his note now.
I made an estimate based on what we know now, but I think Joe asked the question with respect to interest rates. It's also true with respect to the price of some of these capital items. We're going to do the best we can. There's also the potential to, change the specifications to some degree, look at other vendors. There's a number of different things you can do, but he's just letting you know that trucks are going up large.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you on that, Bob. I just saw it.
Article 20, referendum question R, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the total sum of $1,631,800 from estimated non-property tax revenues to reduce the property tax commitment, together with all categories of funds which may be available from the federal government and any other sources. Select Board recommends Article 20.
I move recommend Article 20.
Thank you, Karen.
Second,
Thank you, Abigail. We may have lost Bob here. All right,
He's coming back in.
okay, thank you. We'll go to the vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob, can you hear us?
I'm back, yes,
Thank you. Dennis? That was a yes.
yes,
And Abigail,
yes,
thank you. Article 21, referendum question S, to see if the town will vote to accept certain state funds as provided by the Maine State Legislature during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022, and any other funds provided by any other entity, including but not limited to municipal revenue sharing, local road assistance, emergency management assistance, snowmobile registration money, homestead exemption, tree growth reimbursement, general assistance reimbursement, veterans exemption reimbursement, business equipment tax exemption reimbursement, state grants, or other funds. Select Board recommends Article 21.
I move recommend Article 21.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none. Karen?
Yes.
Bob?
yes,
Dennis?
yes,
Abigail?
Yes.
Thank you. Article 22, referendum question T, to see if the town will vote to authorize the use of town employees and/or town-owned equipment or independent contractors hired by the town for maintenance on private roads in special and certain circumstances wherein the public's interest. Select Board recommends Article 22.
I move recommend Article 22.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? We'll go to the vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
and Abigail.
Yes.
Thank you. Article 23, referendum question U, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the money received from the state for snowmobile registration not to exceed $2,000 to the Raymond Rattler Snowmobile Club for maintenance of their network of snowmobile trails on condition that those trails be open in snow season to the public for outdoor recreation purposes and that at no charge, and to authorize the municipal officers to enter into an agreement with the club under such terms and conditions as the municipal officers may deem advisable for that purpose. Select Board recommends Article 23.
I move recommend Article 23.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Move to the vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Yes.
Abigail. Article 24, referendum question V, to see if the town will accept as a conditional gift from the Raymond Village Library the assets of RVL, including the land, building, books, and all personal property, and all monetary assets as of June 30th, 2022, minus $15,000 for startup costs. Total net estimate as of April 4th, 2022 is approximately $195,000. As outlined in the memorandum of understanding between RVL and the town of Raymond, signed 10/12/2021. Available for view at the Raymond Town Office upon request. Such funds to be set aside in a non-lapsing town account separate from the general fund and to be used for library purposes only. 2, establish the library as a town department. 3, appropriate $60,000 from the non-lapsing town library account to be used for fiscal year 2022-2023 for the new library department. And 4, also to raise and appropriate $135,876 for the new library department. Select Board recommends Article 24.
I move recommend Article 24.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Move on to the vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
Absolutely.
Article 25, referendum question W, to see if the town will raise and appropriate $66,000 for the Raymond Village Library. Such funds to be raised and appropriated only in the event Article 24 does not pass. Select Board recommends Article 25.
I move recommend Article 25.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? Seeing none. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail.
Yes.
Thank you. Article 26, referendum question X, LD1. To see if the town will vote to increase the property tax levy limit of $3,401,749.27 established for the town of Raymond by state law in the event that the municipal budget approved under the preceding articles will result in a tax commitment that is greater than that property tax levy limit. Select Board recommends Article 26.
I move recommend Article 26.
Thank you, Karen.
second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? We'll move on to the vote. Karen,
Yes.
Bob,
yes,
Dennis,
yes,
Abigail,
Yes.
thank you. And that is the last of the warrant articles. Now we have time for public comment.
There are no raised hands, and there doesn't appear to be any public per se.
All right. Any budget finance comment? Go ahead, Sharice.
Hi, Bob, and everyone else. Point of clarification on the article on the rescue pumper. The article is written to borrow an amount not to exceed 500,000. So what that would mean if the rescue pumper purchase price is more than that, the amount that we would be withdrawing from the fire apparatus reserve would end up being greater than initially anticipated.
Doesn't it talk about the validity of the vote based on estimates though as well?
It does. Yeah, it says if the actual amount of new debt varies from the estimate. Yeah.
I guess my point is there's a mechanism to get around it. And I mean, the first thing you'll look at is ways to economize on the truck. And I mean, I guess if we get to a worst case scenario, there's always the potential to have a special town meeting.
Town meeting, yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what else we can do. I mean, Bruce is letting us know that this is what's happening. It's no secret to anybody. It's happening, you know, all over the world. So, I mean, I guess if we had a quorum, I suppose you could adjust that, couldn't you, Sue?
You mean
Change
you couldn't adjust how much was raised and appropriated, but you could possibly look at what you have in reserve and use more, because that's always available to use, I
I'm
believe.
saying
Isn't that true?
change the estimates on the warrant, I'm saying.
Once it's approved, it's approved. So I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Let me go, which warrant article number is that? I'm sorry.
I'm saying if you had a quorum of both bodies, you could change it, right?
If you had a quorum of both bodies before Friday, yes.
Right, so I don't think we have that with the selectmen, is that right?
This wasn't on the agenda to
Okay.
change it. So it hasn't been published at all.
Yeah, well, I'm back to really, I think it's something we can work with, but I mean, I hear the comment.
Dennis,
Don, why couldn't we, as a budget committee, make a recommendation that there be a variable added and then recommend it to go back to the select board for reconsideration on that particular item?
I guess you could do that.
So there's got to be a role for the budget committee for this sort of thing as you stagger your meetings. If something comes up that we have a concern about, that we could ask for, or we could make an amendment and recommend it, and then they could say yes or no later, right?
At least in the schedule that we do now, and I'm not saying yes or no really to your question, but in the schedule that we have now, that's what the budget Finance Committee and Select Board workshop was for, was
Okay.
to go over any questions and whatnot. And then after the workshop, the selectmen set the warrant. And then after the selectmen set the warrant and their recommendations, then the Budget Finance Committee gets to put on their recommendations. So in a sense, we're past that point for our normal scheduling. But we would have to scurry because for this to be voted on as a secret ballot, I have to post it Friday.
And I guess what I'm asking is if the budget committee hears this concern that comes up after the select board meeting, but before our final meeting, wouldn't it be appropriate for us to say, instead of saying 500,000, we would recommend to no more than 600,000? Because my feeling is that steel prices and everything else keeps going up. So I don't think it'll be just 50,000 personally. I think we could have 55 or 58. So, I mean, within our bylaws, can we do that, Sue?
You can't, because the selectmen have set the amount in the warrant and have set the warrant question. So all the Budget Finance Committee can do is recommend a lower amount than the selectmen have. They can't recommend the warrant article be increased.
But
We
I
could
think,
potentially build in to another meeting or into the budget schedule another layer so that you could have a time to go over it and make a recommendation to the select board before they make their warrant. But at this stage of the game, unless the select board want to revisit, that's kind of what it would take.
Well, let me ask you, oh, okay. So there's no way after the select board does a warrant that we have any empowerment to adjust it up, only down?
That's correct.
Well, again, I think that's foolish myself, but I guess we'd have to adjust that with the ordinances of the town, correct? Because this is a simple,
I believe that's state, actually.
anyway. My thought is this is a simple problem that came up. I would recommend to amend that, and then I guess that we would have, in order to do that, I guess we'd have to vote against it, is what I'm hearing. That we'd be against the 500 because it's not enough. Is that too complicated?
No,
Like-
is there a prohibition if they were to vote, let's say in the affirmative, but then take a separate vote that is unrelated to the warrant with a recommendation, the selectmen take a look at this? Is that something that's acceptable?
The Budget Finance Committee could do that to ask the select board to reconsider, I suppose. But
And they could ask them to reconsider with an amount and that
They-
would be
they could,
constitute
but
their vote, and then the selectmen could either accept it or not, right?
yes.
I mean, that's one way, but I don't know. There's two selectmen here. I don't know how they feel about it, so. I mean,
And well, two aren't a quorum, so,
I know, but I mean,
Yeah.
I do understand that. I'm not asking them to vote. I
right.
guess I'm asking procedurally, that might be a Joe question possibly, what he thinks about it.
What harm is there in what us, we've already voted for it. I guess what I'm looking for is what is the harm in this budget committee saying, as a budget committee, we vote for the warrant, but because of new information regarding that warrant, we would ask the select board and we would vote affirmatively before it goes to them. So we don't have to go through all the articles or all the warrants on this particular warrant to consider increasing it by 50 or 75. And if it comes in under, we save money. Correct? I mean, we wouldn't have to deal with this again.
If it's an up to number, I guess that'd be correct, yeah. But I still,
You
Okay.
you don't need to change anything. There are ways around this. There's CIP money, there's contingency money. There are ways around this if that's really the case, because you can't, it's too late to call another meeting in the select board. You can't notify the public in time to have another meeting. So, I mean, I'm not concerned about the amount. I'm really not. It's always a moving target every time you do this, so.
Thank you. I think that's good for me.
any other budget finance comment? want to take this time to thank all the members of the Budget Finance Committee for the work that you've done this year. We certainly will welcome you back next year if possible. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Move. we
So
adjourn.
moved.
Bob and Karen, all those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.